Good morning. My name is CJ Moss. I'm going to be giving you a quick overview of the G1000 avionics system. We're going to start here in the top left corner. This is your nav 1 and nav 2, main and standby. In order to switch between the two, we have a nav button here. Watch the blue box. It's going to switch. That switches from nav 1 to nav 2, and if we have one in standby and we want to put it in activate, we just simply hit this double arrow button and it swaps the two. Also coming down here, we have our blue heading bug. If you notice here, we can set our course heading to whatever direction we want to fly. We can click in and it'll go to the current heading in which we're setting on. This is an altitude bug. You're watching it move up here in the top left corner, where we can set our desired heading. We also have those duplicated here on the MFD for both your pilot and co-pilot that you can manipulate, or you can manipulate it with both hands. Alright, talking about the MFD here, or your PFD here, your primary flight display. Up here at the top, we have our rate of turn indicator. It goes in 10, 20, 30, 45, and 60. This little brick here is your slip skid indicator. Just like on a traditional slip skid indicator, you would have a ball, so we call this the brick. Now you've got your blue over brown, that's your attitude indicator. Typically, depending on the type of aircraft you're flying, you will set here about the 2.5 degree mark. So each one of these lines is 2.5 degrees, then 5 degrees, 7.5, 10 degrees, and so on and so forth. This is your airspeed indicator. Rather than a dial, it operates on a tape. And you have your preset V-speeds. Here on a 172, which is what I'm setting in now, we have rotation speed of 55 knots, our VX, our best angle of climb at 62, our VG, our best glide at 68, and our best rate of climb at 74 knots. They're preset, they're already in there. You can adjust them by hitting your timer button here, and you can scroll down into these and adjust them if it were in a different system. Okay, again, this is your timer button. If you ever need it, you simply hit the timer button and you can hit enter to start your timer. Okay. Now here we've got, this is our altimeter and our barometric pressure. So currently we're setting, this is set to 3017. You change it by your baro knob here. And this other knob here right next to the baro is your course knob. You won't see it changing now because I don't have a CDI set in there, or a localizer. I guess it does change it now. But you can set your course depending on what localizer, VOR, ILS, whatever it is that you have in there set. Okay, let's see. This is your airspeed indicator. It shows in both positives and negatives your rate of climb and foot per minute. Down here at the bottom, you're going to have a series of different buttons. Probably for you guys that are just starting, the most useful one that you need to know is your transponder. This is where you would set any squawk code that you were assigned. Here you've also got your automatic VFR if you get sent over to 1200, and then your ident button. Clicking this button essentially sends a beacon to the air traffic control screen to help identify exactly where you are. This is a fancy button. This is your nearest button. It's going to pull up the closest airports to you. Okay. And then if you wanted to sit, so we're going to close our, if we wanted to set a flight plan. So right now I'm setting at West Houston Airport and I have a destination. Let's say I want to go to College Station, Texas. So I'm going to hit my FPL, which stands for flight plan, and I'm going to start typing with my little knob here. So I'm going to put in KCLL, which is for Easterwood Field, and then I hit the enter button here. Okay. I don't know what runway we're using, so I'm just going to go there. Now I want to switch my CDI back to my GPS. Now let's say that I take off and then I'm about ready to turn on course. This is where this fancy D, we call it the direct button, we can just hit direct, enter, enter, and it will recenter my needle here for me to go direct on the GPS. Okay. Up here you have COM 1 and COM 2, standby, and main. Now, same just like on the nav side, you can click this COM knob in, swap back and forth your blue box, and then you can change from your standby to your active. I personally like to use whichever frequency I'm talking to on COM 1, and then my weather is in COM 2. If you want to listen to your weather, you simply just hit your COM 2 button over here. It does not activate your mic, just your COM, and then you stay active on your COM 1 without activating your mic on COM 2. This here is a range button. It adjusts your range over here on the MFD, which we're going to go over all this in just a second. Pretty cool button a lot of people don't know about is the playback button. In the event you miss a radio call, you can hit the playback button and bring back that last call that was transmitted over your active frequency. This is your backup display. In the event that we lose our PFD, we can use the backup and it'll send all of our PFD information as well as our engine instruments all over to our backup. Okay. Here on this side, we have, these are all of our engine indicating systems. We have our RPMs, our fuel flow, oil pressure, oil temperature, exhaust gas temperature, our vacuum gauge, our fuel flow indicator, our main bus, our essential bus, and then our battery. I'm setting here on battery right now, so we're showing a discharge on our main battery, and my standby is not on, so I'm not using it. It's no discharge. Up here, you can adjust these settings, which I'm going to go into the MFD and show you how to do this. This is your ground speed, desired track, how far you are off from your track, and then your estimated time en route. You also have duplicated your nav 1s as they are here on the PFD, or your nav 1, nav 2, and then your COM 1, COM 2. It's the exact same thing on this side, just where you can access it on both sides. You have the same set of buttons here as you do here on this side. Okay. But this is a pretty powerful tool. There's a lot in here. Typically, pilots will keep it here on the moving map. It gives them airspace, traffic, obstacle clearance, but there's some pretty cool things within the MFD that you can set. For example, if you go to your aux page down here, this is where you can set up, for example, this is your RAM, so you can compute your RAM to determine whether or not you have WAS capability. RAM is available. Let's see, I want to go into the aux page. So we have aux here, system setup. So up here at the top, I have in here ground speed, my desired track, how far I'm off from my track, and then my estimated time en route. But if I wanted to change those fields, this is where I would do it here, MFD data bar fields. I can change a plethora of different settings all throughout the MFD here. Kind of the best way to do it, in my opinion, is pull out a manual, figure out what works best for you, and play with this system. You'll see that it's very powerful and can do a lot of different things. But essentially, that's the basics of it. You have your traditional 6-pack that is put into an easy to read one screen PFD, and then all of your moving map and engine instruments, all very easy to see, pop up here on the MFD. One thing I didn't go, these are your CAS messages. In the event you have anything go wrong, we don't have the old school lights that pop up at the top. Rather, we have, if something were to go wrong, it all pops up here. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I am pretty well versed in G1000 avionics, and happy to help with any way I can. God bless.